Hello and welcome to our Acumatica overview demo. My name is Duncan Jepson with Xcellerated Solutions. I am the marketing and pre-sales consultant. Today we'll be looking over a lot of topics, the first of which will be the overview and navigation and user experience of Acumatica. Then we will move on to the order to invoice section. Most of the pages in Acumatica have a similar layout and feel, so demonstrating the order to invoice process will give you a good look into how Acumatica works. Next, we will get into the CRM section. Acumatica has a built-in CRM alongside their ERP, which is a huge differentiator for Acumatica. We will use the customer portal to show one example of the power of Acumatica's CRM. After that, we will move into the topic of Acumatica's mobile application, which is one of the many benefits of a true cloud ERP like Acumatica. With the mobile app, we will submit an expense receipt to show you how to do one of the many things you can do within the app. Another topic we will cover will be workflows as they relate to approval and assignment mapping. Lastly, we will talk about the reporting, as this is a very important need for a lot of companies. Every single feature you will see today is out-of-the-box functionality. There are no customizations or third-party products being used for our demo today. It is all just core Acumatica. Today we will start by going over the overview, navigation, and user experience. In this section, we will cover the following topics: our dashboards, user interface, navigation via workspaces, user experience, universal search, filters, and automation schedules. Now, Acumatica is an entirely browser-based ERP. This means that you can use Acumatica from most any browser on any device that has a browser and an internet connection. Today I will be using Google Chrome, so let's get started by signing in. Acumatica is a role-based software, which means it allows users to see only the things that they need to see to do their job. Today I'm logged in as an admin, so I can see everything, but for example, a controller would only have to see the things and be able to see the things that they need to do their job correctly, such as the finance, the payables, or the receivables. Acumatica also supports multi-currency and multi-company environments. So you can manage your multi-entity company all within the same area, no matter where they are in the world. Now, let's dive into our first topic in this section, and that topic is dashboards. There are many different dashboards that you can view throughout Acumatica. They're all incredibly useful, but I want to demonstrate the capability of dashboards, so I will show you one, which is the Customer View dashboard. They provide a real-time view of your data. A single dashboard supports an unlimited number of reports that can give you a lot of information. You can also drill down into the nitty-gritty details of every single piece of information that you see on your screen. Dashboards are also configurable and allow every user to customize their own dashboard to look and feel the way they want it to. All you have to do is click Design, and you are able to drag and drop your tiles to different areas, or you can click the Edit button, the Delete button, or the Copy button. You can also scroll down and add a new widget, which allows you to customize any of these widgets to your needs. When in the Customer View dashboard, I can see all of the important information that I need when it comes to my customers, such as orders to ship, open opportunities, open support cases, or overdue cases, which I may want to delve into. Or I can look at our graphs, such as my items purchased in the last 12 months. I can also dive into a specific company if I wanted to by clicking on this magnifying glass right here and selecting the company that we want. Now all of the information that I see on my screen is only specific to our Alta Ace company. If I want to see all my open opportunities, then I can click here and see all of my open opportunities in one spot and some information about each of them. Now I could click on any of these opportunities and see information about them. Or I can click on my Opportunities side panel. This allows me to see the information about whatever opportunity is specifically highlighted. So I could click on a different one, and it would automatically refresh my side panel to see that information. I can also click on the Customer View side panel to pull up the all of the customer information about that one specific customer. The next topic we're going to get into is workspaces. Workspaces are those tabs on the left-hand side of the screen. This is the really big place where the role-based orientation comes into the Acumatica. Me being logged in as an admin, I can see all of these different workspaces. But each individual user can configure their environment in a way that they only see the workspaces they need. To show you the capabilities of workspaces, I will show you the payables workspace. Within the payables workspace, we have many different forms that are separated out into categories, such as transactions, processes, or inquiries. Now, if we're not seeing the form that we need, we can click the Show All button, and this gives us every form inside of this workspace. And if there's a specific form that we use all the time within the payables workspace, or in any workspace, we can add as a tile to the top by clicking these three dots at the bottom left, clicking Edit Menu, Add Tile. Then we can select an icon, a title, and a form that we want it to open when we click on that tile. All workspaces have the same functionality, just with different tasks. You can see that by clicking on the Sales Order workspace. You can see that it's a very similar sort of orientation and very similar experience. If there's specific forms that we use in any workspace all the time, and we don't want to have to go looking through the different workspaces to know which one it's in, we can go up and click on the star here, and we can add them to our favorites. Now when we click on our favorites workspace, they're all just right here. Now our next topic is going to be our universal search tool within Acumatica. This tool allows you to search on virtually anything within Acumatica, from menu items to files to help articles. For example, if I wanted to fill out a 1099 report, but I didn't know where that was, all I have to do is go up into the search bar, type 1099, and I can see my menu items, my transactions and profiles, my help topics, and my files, all in one spot, everything that includes 1099. Now the next topic we're going to talk about within Acumatica is the filters. Filters allow you to search different parameters quickly and easily without needing custom reports. To demonstrate the power of filters, let's move back over to the payables workspace. Within the payables workspace, we are going to click on the Approve Bills for Payment. Once we are here, say we only want to see the bills that are over $20,000. We can click on this filter icon. We can create a new row. All we have to do is click Property and click on Balance. Condition we select is greater than. Our value, we type in $20,000. We click Apply. Now we only see the bills that are over $20,000 in balance. Now, if we only wanted to see this filter once, that would be good with that. Or if it's something that we need to look at a lot, we can go back to our filters, click on this filter, click Save, enter it as a name. So we'll say balance greater than $20,000. We can click OK and apply. Now, that filter will be saved as a separate tab above here that we can click on at any time to see our bills that are over $20,000. Filters are a very useful tool throughout all of Acumatica. Next, let's talk about automation schedules. Automation schedules can be used to schedule tasks ahead of time, so you don't need to worry about running them manually. And as an example of automation schedules, let's go to the Preparing Payments workspace. From here, I can select my payment method, which we will select a check, just for an example. Once we see all of our payments that we can pay through check, we can select each individual bill and click Process, or we can make an automation schedule by clicking the Automation Schedule button and adding it. From here, we can select when we want our automation to start and how often we want it to. Our next section will be our order to invoice process. To start our order to invoice process, we will go to the Sales Orders workspace. From here, we will click New Sales Order, which will bring up our sales order document. Just like any other document in Acumatica, we have our heading section and our details section. At the very top of our document, we can see our notes that we can add, our activities, our files, and our customization of the document itself. To start our sales order process, we're going to click on our customer box. From here, we can select a specific customer that we want, and then we can go in and start adding our items. We could click on the Add Row button, or we can click on our Add Items, which will bring up our inventory lookup. From here, we can select the item that we want and click Add and Close. The price of that item will automatically be generated, as well as the rest of the information about this item. We also have the option to add breakpoints, which are configured inside of the sales prices page within Acumatica. This allows us to add breakpoints into our items. In this example, if we add a quantity of 3 or more, it will deduct the unit price by $25. For this example, we're only going to have a quantity of 1 laptop. Now, not only do we have our price immediately with our item, but we also have our inventory on hand in the bottom left. Now, when it comes to configuring our columns, we have a very easy option of just dragging and dropping into different areas to easily move our columns around. Or we can click on our column configurator right here and move things up and down as we please. We can also, if we don't want our notes here for instance, we can just remove that column and put it into the available columns section, which will no longer appear on our screen. Now, to move on with our order to invoice process, we need to move on to our shipping. It is important to note that Acumatica has integrated with popular carriers such as UPS and FedEx, as well as supports over 100 carriers through third-party plugins. When we're looking for our carrier, we can click on our shipping and click on Shop for Rates. From here, we can click Refresh Rates, where it will pull up a list of a bunch of different carriers that we can select. In this instance, we're just going to select the cheapest option, which would be FedEx Ground. This will automatically give us the correct box size for our item that we have selected in the previous step. From here, we can click OK, and there we can see that our carrier is now FedEx Ground. The last tab that we have to click on is our payments. Now, in our payments, we can put down a prepayment or a down payment towards our item. Or we can add a credit card to go against that item as well. In this example, we will not be making a down payment, but it is an option. But we will go on to create our shipment. Now, we could go and create our shipment right now through this screen, or to demonstrate the capabilities of different departments interacting with one another through Acumatica, we can save our document here, and then somebody else could go in, say the warehouse manager or the shipping clerk, and through their dashboard can go in and see the order that we just made. So this is our sales order we just made. We can see it will ship via FedEx Ground. Now we can go in and click on our order number and it will pull up our sales order. Now that we have pulled up our sales order, we can create our shipment. Now in creating our shipment, we just have to go up and it will tell us which warehouse ID it is. We click OK. From here, once it completes, it will pull up our shipment. Now from here, we can go and print our pick lists. Now we will just generate our pick list. And it is an important note to know that Acumatica does have its own warehouse management system, where you can include barcode scanning into managing your warehouse operations. That will not be covered in this demo, but it is an available option. Now that we do have our pick list generated, we can go back to our shipments. And from here, we can confirm that it is the correct package. Once we've confirmed that it's the correct package for our item, we can click Confirm. And now we can confirm the final shipment. Confirming this automatically generates a tracking number into our package. It also allows us to automatically print a shipping label through Acumatica using this yellow icon on the left. We can click that and open up our shipping label. Now that our shipment is prepared, it is now time to prepare our invoice. To do this, we could do it back through our shipment using this button here. Or, like we did before with going into the shipping clerk, we can go through and show the different departments. So we will go to our sales order workspace and click on Process Shipments. Then we can choose what action we want to conduct. In this case, that process is going to be preparing an invoice. Clicking on this will show us a list of all shipments that need invoices prepared. In this case, we only have our one shipment, so that's not much of a problem. All we have to do now to prepare the invoice is click on our shipment and click process. We also could have clicked on automated scheduling like we discussed before if we wanted to do this on automated schedule, but for now we will just do it individually. So once this is finished processing, we will be able to click right here on our processed invoices and be able to look at our invoice. Once we do this, we can click on our shipment number here and go over to the Orders tab. Within the Orders, we can see our invoice number, where we can now click on our invoice number to open up our invoice. Now, once we are in the invoice, we can review any financial details about the invoice or change any details as needed. As well as the CRM is tied into the ERP application within Acumatica, so our customer terms, credit limits, and other information is all contained inside of one spot. At this point, you can now email the invoice to the customer by clicking on these three dots and clicking Email Invoice. This will now populate our activities at the top where we can review the email or even see a copy of the actual invoice that we just created. Now this is an example of the email that would be sent out, but we can click on the files and see the invoice that they will receive. Now this is a mock-up of an invoice for the demo. This will not be what it is actually looking like when a customer sends it out. These invoices can be customized to have your own branding and logos on them. Finally, all we have to do is go back to our invoice and now we can release our invoice, which is Acumatica's version of posting our invoice to the general ledger. Now, one last feature that I would like to demonstrate before we move on is the quick process function. I'm going to go up and just create a mock sales order real quick. So if we click on this, basically make the same sales order that we just made, but we are going to demonstrate the quick process. So now that we have everything in here, we can go to quick process, and instead this will now generate our shipment, confirm our shipment. We can select print pick lists, we can print labels, we can email our invoice or print our invoice, all with a few buttons. This is giving us a notification saying that they don't need the invoices by email, but it can be done regardless. Now, our next topic that we're going to cover today is our CRM. The biggest part of the Acumatica CRM that we're going to demonstrate today is the Customer Portal. Customer Portal is an option that you can give to your customers where they can log in to view their own documents, place their own orders, and run their own reports. And we're going to sign in to our Customer Portal here as Sam Malone, a mock-up customer that we would have given this login information to. When we log in as a customer, we're able to see a much more limited version of Acumatica. Customers can use this portal to enter support cases, browse inventory catalogs, view their documents or their orders. Here we will use our customer portal to place an order as Sam Malone. First, we will click on Orders on our left-hand workspaces. And then we can see a catalog of all of the inventory that our company has available for him to purchase. Once we get here, we can go and select an item that we want through the inventory and select the Add to Cart button. From here, we can open our cart, which it looks like we already had one in here. So we can reduce our quantity back down to 1. From here, we can proceed to checkout. These orders will immediately be sent back where we can go through our Acumatica, not the customer portal, and process the order just like we did with our shipments and our order to invoice process. The customer portal allows you to have a much better customer relationship and enhance customer satisfaction by giving them an instant visibility into their transaction history and a much easier way for them to order current items. Our next topic that we're going to be demonstrating is the Acumatica mobile app. With all modern ERP systems, mobility should be a high priority. With Acumatica, the mobility is fantastic, not only with the ability to access it from virtually any device that has a browser and an internet connection, but also through the Acumatica mobile app, which is available on iOS and Android, which I will be demonstrating today, a little bit of today. I will start by opening up a screen monitoring app where I have my phone. Now in here, we can sign in to our Acumatica. It automatically pulls it up where inside we have all of these options within our mobile app. We could go in and click on our sales orders and look at the sale order we just barely pushed through, which is right here up at the top. Or we can go through and do what we are going to be doing today. And that is we are going to submit an expense receipt through the mobile app. So if we go to our time and expenses, we can then click on expense receipts. From here, we can see all the previous ones already in the database, or we can click on this button in the bottom right, where we can click Capture Expense Receipt. Now from here, all we have to do is take a picture, and we can customize this. We click OK. Now this will upload our picture to our expense receipt, and we can take our receipt and type in the amount for it. So this one was for gas, and it was $68.01. Description, we can say gas from Maverick. Expense item, we can come in here and click on cars or business travel, air, train, and miles. From here, we can click on the check mark. It will send out our expense receipt, and we can see it's automatically updated right there. Or if we close this down, we can pull back up our database on our computer, pull up our Acumatica, and if we go to time and expenses, and then go to expense receipts, we can open up our Acumatica and go to our time and expenses, click on expense receipts, and we can see that it was automatically updated into our database along with the picture of our receipt. Now that is just one example of one of the many, many things you can do with the mobile app. It's an amazing tool that a lot of companies will benefit from. Now, our second to last topic we will talk about is our workflow as it relates to approval and assignment mapping process. So we will open up our Acumatica again, and what if we're not sure where to find the assignment and approval mappings? Well, we can use the universal search tool just as we talked about previously. All we have to do is type in assignment, and there it is. It's right there. So we can click on it, and now we can see all of our different workflows we have, such as the case and lead assignments. This is where we can see the different conditions of the cases or the leads and automatically distribute them to their associated owners. We also have project and purchase order group approvals, where we can see the properties of those records and generate approval based on those conditions. The PO two-step group approval is a great place to see an example of how we have two steps involved for the approval of POs. You can see by clicking on this, the first step in approving a PO is by the financial team. The second step is going to be by the executive when it comes to large POs. In our rules area, we can see that in sequence 1, we are approved by the finance team. It is assigned to the finance work group, and we can see that the conditions down at the bottom. These are essentially saying that any purchase order that comes in will need to be approved by finance. In the second sequence, we can see the different conditions for the larger purchase orders, where we have any purchase greater than $5,000 will have to be approved by Michael Andrews. This way we can make sure that our executive gets eyes on all of the large purchase orders that they have before they're sent to vendors. To demonstrate the approval maps, I will log out of our admin, and we are going to log in as Andrews. As we log in, we will navigate to the Purchasing Manager dashboard. From here, we can see that we have 2 POs that are pending approval. So let's take a look at those. We can see that this purchase order right here is over the 5,000 marker. So that means that we need to watch that and we need to approve that ourselves as Michael Andrews. All we have to do is click on the purchase order. That will open up automatically. And then we just click approve as we're ready to do so. As soon as we're ready, we can go and enter it to a PO receipt. Our final topic in today's demo is going to be reporting. Acumatica offers 3 different types of reporting tools, which are all included within Acumatica. The first is our financial report writer, which is used to create financial and project reports using any ledger in the GL. The second is the standard report designer. This is a Windows-based tool that allows you to select any data and forms and lets you customize the format of those results. Our last type of reporting tool is a generic inquiry writer. This is very similar to a SQL query-driven tool that is web-based and allows you to be very particular with the reports that you design. To demonstrate some reports, we will start off by going into our finance workspace and selecting a financial statement. For today, we will use a balance sheet. From here, we can select and run a report. Now, this is an example of a Acumatica financial report. From our report, we can see the grand totals of our items, as well as because it is a browser-based, and we can drill in to any of the details of our totals by just simply clicking on them. Those will bring us up. This allows us to view account-specific information, where we could even export this information into Excel or to a PDF if we needed to. Now, aside from those drill-down details, financial reports also allow you to group based on unit sets. In my environment, I have multiple different companies and branches, so I can drill into any of these specifics for any of those branches by selecting the corresponding unit set. Now, as an example of our report designer, I can navigate to the report definitions screen. From here, I can select the report that I would like to change, so we're going to do the balance sheet. From here, we can define row sets, column sets, copy reports, copy rows and columns, and use them to create new reports. In this example, I will change my unit set from branches to products. Change it from branches down to products, hit save. Now, when we go back into our balance sheet and run our report, you're now grouped by individual products instead of branches. This allows me to see one product line at a time versus the consolidated product view. So if I wanted to see just the consumer goods or just the electronics and computers, it makes my information a lot more specific. This is just one example of many different financial reports within Acumatica. To demonstrate a standard report, we will select from a list of sales order reports. For this example, we will use a sales order details by customer. When we run this report, it allows us to see customer-specific information. We're no longer seeing a financial report, but instead seeing all of the sales orders that have been placed by our individual customers. Just like our financial statements, we can click on any of these sales orders to drill into them specifically to get more information about them. And once we're in here, we can review it, and then we can click back out to our overall customer review. Our last topic to demonstrate is our generic inquiry. To do this, we're just going to drill into any of our dashboard tiles. So we can go back to our home page of the controller, and all dashboard tiles are driven by generic inquiries. So by clicking on Total AP, we can pull up our vendor summary. From here, we can once again see all the benefits of filters by using them to see only the data we want to see. Say we want to see the vendors that have a balance due that's over $5,000. We can click on our filter, click on our and add a new filter, property. We can click on and make it balance due. We can click on is greater than and say $5,000. We could save this as a normal filter that will sit up at the top like normal, or we can just click apply and see only our vendors that have a balance due of over $5,000. We can also create our inquiries by clicking customize, and from here we're able to select edit general inquiry, and we're able to select any tables that we would like to pull into the query. We can also relate those tables. We can add additional parameters or conditions, and even add highlighting to only show specific data as specific colors within our tables.